This solo is called European Powermetal, and it's in the key of D minor, and it's played at 157 beats per minute. Let's break it down, let's check it out. So I thought I'd start this solo on the root note. That would be the D. Here, that's the 10th fret of the low E string. Now you don't have to start a solo on the root note, but it's a safe and sure place to start, no doubt about it. For this first chunk, and remember how in the course introduction I said that we as soloists have to think in terms of chunks, I thought I'd go for a pentatonic thing, and it just so happened that prior to making this solo, I had been doing a lot of noodling with 1-note per string, 2-note per string, and 3-note per string pentatonics using economy picking and alternate picking and string skipping. So I thought that's what I'd do for the first chunk. And I especially like that first bit there, where all the pick strokes and the direction changes work together in such a way that every note is picked. Because although you're doing sweeping and economy picking, you get that very percussive pick attack like you might get with alternate picking. Anyway, once I'd done that, it was time to move on to the second chunk. And I had some time to kill before the next bar ticked over, so I thought, what better way than to do a repeating lick? That's an excellent way to make a statement and to buy yourself some time. So I noodled around and I came up with this 16-note long pentatonic repeating lick with the tap note in there. And I really loved how that flowed, so I decided to play that 3 times. I tried it twice at first, but it left me a bit short. Then I tried it 4 times. It took me way too far into the next bar. 3, it seemed to be the perfect length. So I did that 3 times. And then immediately after that, I went into a very basic descending 3-note per string unsequenced economy picked run. And the reason I went into something rather straightforward and easy after this somewhat tricky repeating unit was so that my brain wouldn't look ahead and worry about what was coming next when I was doing that slightly complicated tapping repeating unit. So there was a bit of strategy of focus and brain power going on there as I was composing this. Now, this run begins with a downstroke on the high A and then 2 pull-offs. And then it gets into the actual economy picked run. And the reason I do that low note and then the 2 pull-offs is just to make it even easier, so we don't have to do like a 2-way pick slanted alternate picking slant change. So you don't have to worry about that. Also, you'll notice how I do 5 pick strokes on the A string. With that little slide there. Now I could have done it like this, doing a low note on the E string. Returning to the A string. But as a general rule, the greater number of times that you have to move to the next string and then come back, the greater the difficulty will be. So you want to try and stay on a single string for as long as you can. That's why I decided to make 5 pick strokes on the A string rather than to do something differently. After that, we go into a very basic beginner's level, like bluesy pentatonic type lick. And I thought that I'd compose this as triplets because that could bring some compositional dynamics to this solo, because every other note pretty much in this solo is 16th notes. So by having a little section in there which is triplets, it'll make the whole solo more interesting. Also, I wanted to have a bit of a break after that slightly difficult section beforehand, so that those difficult sections and the difficult sections coming up after this. So I thought, yeah, let's chuck in a blues lick just to chill out for a moment while I regather myself. And that's just a linear 3 sequence applied to the D minor blues scale. Now this next section coming up wasn't actually specifically made for this solo. It already exists in one of my other solos. It's from my track, The Impossible Encounter, off my second album, Splendor of Sands. But it just goes to show you how soloists like me, we hardly ever compose a solo note by note. What we really do is we reach into our lick libraries and we pluck out our favorite runs, our favorite licks, our favorite ideas that we've been playing for years and years, and we just arrange them on the score and start rattling them off. So keep that in mind when you're playing. Everything's done in chunks. All right, let's carry on. Now this first pattern, you may notice I'm using the second finger and the first finger. There's a reason for that. It's because ergonomically and in terms of practicality, it makes moving to the second shape slightly easier where we're using the third and first finger. But check this out. I want to show you something. That second to last note there with the second finger, that's a hammer on from nowhere, so there's no picking there. And the reason I do that is so that my picking hand is ready to engage and start the next pattern up here. Because it might be tempting to pick that, but that's my reason for not picking it. And I do the same thing there. That's a hammer on from nowhere. And then we just move up sideways, creating that tension. And that right there, that's like a pull bend and pull vibrato. For whatever reason, I prefer pull bends because you've got the push bends and then you've got pull bends. They both work, but I find that people tend to prefer one over the other. I seem to prefer pull bends and pull vibrato. I seem to have better control over it. Probably because I'm typically a behind-the-neck classical player rather than an over-the-top blues player. That might be the reason why. Anyway, straight after that, we go into the finale, which is just 3-string and 3 notes per string, unsequenced scale. And I wanted to end on this note here. What is that? It's an F. I wanted to end there because I knew that once the solo ends, the very first chord that it changes to is an F major. And because this is power metal and I wanted like a heroic, triumphant finish, I wanted to rise up into that F and to land on it. And so I just thought, well, unsequenced scale, that'll work quite well, I think. So this is with 2-way pick slanted alternate picking, and starting off in an upward pick slant, rolling into a downward pick slant, and then rolling into an upward pick slant. And that's the solo. Well, I hope you're liking this course. If you want more like these courses, there are more. All you have to do is become a monthly supporter, log into my VIP Club private site, and get working through them. There's killer scale runs. Etudes for electric guitar. And so much other exclusive content. I'll see you there.